Good afternoon. My name is Cherie, and my topic today is going to be talking about getting the right amount of care for your loved one. Does that mean that spending more money will equate to the best possible care for your loved one? What exactly does that mean, or how will you get the best possible care when you send them to a facility? One of the main people that helped me whenever I was writing my research paper he just made validated points and topics that really just made my entire paper, and that was something I struggled with. Was I travel as a CNA, so I didn't know how I was not going to use my own personal experience to explain that whenever you send your loved one to a nursing home, that does not mean that you have to spend more money for them to get the best possible care. And as I mentioned, I travel for my job and I am a CNA, so whenever I went to these nursing facilities, I kind of got my own experience about that. So that was something I struggled with, but like I mentioned, Matthews had some awesome points to validate my entire research paper, and it made me kind of have a whole different outlook on it and things like that. But he talks about businesses nowadays and all over the world are taking like locally owned facilities and making them into their, or buying them for lower cost money and making them into their own. But they're making residents pay more money whenever they go there. One main point he talks about is the equipment. The equipment that they have might be really expensive when they go there, but that does not necessarily mean that your loved one needs that type of equipment or that type of care whenever they go there. Secondly, he mentions how important it is to do research before you send your loved one there. Don't just send them without doing research on the facility. Make sure that it wasn't just recently bought out or taken. Thirdly, he talks about how important it is to make sure that they are staffed. Staffing at nursing facilities has been a big issue. Turnover rates like that and low staffing may not necessarily mean that whenever you send your loved one to a facility, they are getting the best possible care. So whenever you send them, make sure that just because you're paying more money, that they still are staffed to the right amount of residents to patient residents to staffing ratio. Don't just make sure that whenever you send them that they're not putting one person for every 15 people. He talks about that a lot in his book, and that was a huge thing that he talked about. And thirdly, whenever you send your loved one to a nursing home, just because you're paying more, that does not necessarily mean that they're getting their own personal needs. Personal needs may be things like daily activities outside of the facility. I've worked at many nursing homes, and they do awesome things with their residents, like daily outings. Daily outings means like field trips, kind of like their own personal field trips for the residents. So the residents are sent out maybe like 3 to 4 times a week, depending on like their care or their health, if they're able to go out, and they get to go to like their favorite restaurant or go to an awesome museum or park, which I thought is really neat. He talks about that whenever you send them there, make sure that it best suits their own personal needs and things that they like. Overall, spending more money to send your loved one to a nursing home does not necessarily mean that they're going to get the best possible care that they need. Like I had mentioned, make sure that you do your research. Make sure that the place that you're sending them equates to their own personal needs for your loved one. And thirdly, don't just send them there. Like I said, do research. So overall, it does not mean that they're going to get the best possible care that they want or desire.